News sometimes can be boring. However, if you know what to look for, it's not boring whatsoever. And we know what to look for. Stay tuned right now for the news that nobody else is talking about. Oh, we are back. We're here. I want to bring you a little news segment. Today I saw that President Trump actually gave a town hall that was hosted by Sean Hannity last night. I believe it was about last night. And Trump had something to say about CHOP. Who knows about CHOP? Capitol Hill Organized Protesters. This is the place in Seattle where they have lost all rule of law. In fact, the anarchists and the Black Lives Matter movement, I think it's probably a lot more of the anarchists that have influenced, and they're running protection, security for Black Lives Matter. I've watched a lot of these guys that have gone in and they've kind of gone undercover, if you will, for a weekend, for a 3-day period, and they've taken video of everything that's happening. They're watching what's happening. And I saw one video of this kid. He was supposedly an independent journalist, and he was in there, and he had videoed somebody at the wrong time, in the wrong place, the wrong whatever. He didn't even know it. They were 40 yards away, he said. And all of a sudden he got 3 people jumped him. He's being beat up. He feared for his life. He didn't know what to do, and ran, and finally ran out of CHOP to down the street. And to safety is a long ways from that. It wasn't safety. The kid was saying he got beat up, and there's people chasing him, and he felt that his life was in danger. There's been people that have been shot, killed. There've been killings within this CHOP thing, but the president has made a big statement that he does not want this to happen, that the the leaders in Seattle are weak. They are not strong. And I just now saw a clip, and I want to play it for you real quickly. This is President Trump talking with Sean Hannity, a town hall situation. He's talking about this CHOP situation here. Let me just play this for you. Here it is right there.
And we've been watching. There was universal agreement that what happened to George Floyd should never happen, can never happen again. Right. And you've been very outspoken about it as well. And there were peaceful protesters, but then there were people rioting. We see anarchy. We see rocks and bottles and bricks and Molotov cocktails thrown at police officers, police precincts burned to the ground in Seattle, an autonomous zone that still remains, it's changing apparently today, but, taken over, including a police precinct. And you're offering all of these states help, New York, Illinois, and Washington. What are they telling you when you offer them help?
Well, first of all, we have arrested, I think almost, but it could be over the number, hundreds of people. We have arrested a lot of people for what they've done. They've created bedlam. They've destroyed very important things. I mean, you're also talking about statues of George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. They'd like to get Jesus, you know that, right? They said, we want to get Jesus.
Yeah, Sean King, the radical.
These have nothing to do with any particular...
That's Trump talking to us a little bit about this CHOP situation. I'm going to talk about it a little bit after this break. For those of you who've been with us for a while, there's some sounds from the past. We'll be right back.
I almost got arrested 2 days ago at the Federal Reserve for standing outside on the sidewalk.
We're talking about the Constitution.
Of course, I know exactly what the dollar is going to do, but I'm not at liberty to...
You're not going to tell me?
Wait. Hold up a second. It's Freedom of Speech Fridays. It's your chance to call in right now, 1-877-JW-TAKE-2, and ask anything you want. Freedom of Speech Fridays right now on The Jesse Woodrow Show. Oh, it's nice. It is nice to hear that after about 10, 15 years. I don't know when the last time I heard that. I have found a lot of sounds from the show that we had years ago, and we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Every week I'm getting a little closer. Every week getting a little better. So bear with us. But Freedom of Speech Fridays here, the Jesse Woodrow Show. What I want to do, we're going to be taking your comments. I am working hard every single week to try and improve. Now we got music, we got everything, and also in the near future, I'm going to set up a phone line and hopefully get back on the radio, syndicated across the country. I've been talking to my old network, and there's a great possibility that if that's what God wants us to do, then we will do that. If you're listening from years ago, Freedom of Speech Fridays essentially means that it's your freedom to speak. The world, the United States of America, the people around the world, Satan does not want you to talk, and I promote freedom of speech. Now, I suggest everybody get one of these little things. I got a Constitution. You've probably seen them on Amazon or wherever. Constitution of the United States of America. There it is. I want everybody, their homework this weekend, to go and get one of these things. It ain't but 10 pages here. But, it's I don't know how long it actually is. There's probably 25 pages or something. But I want everyone to go get one of these. And I want everyone to read the actual Constitution of America. This is so important to read this. Then you'll get to page 18, these little things, and they have one that has the Abraham Lincoln. Anyway, you can get a little set of this. It's probably $25 or something like that you can get on the internet. But all the amendments, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Third Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, they're all there. I want to read to you the First Amendment to your United States of America Constitution. It says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievance. Right there, the First Amendment to your Constitution. And this is so important to me. This is so very important to me. It should be important to you as a Christian first and as a human being second. The reason is the Constitution is the foundation of what this country is built on. Understanding that there's a freedom to speak, there's a freedom to say what you want to say. Granted, you cannot say go kill all, green people. Whatever. You should not inflict harm upon anyone with your speech. That's not okay. But you have to understand what the concept of the First Amendment to the Constitution was. The concept was England, people wanted to break away from the craziness, the controlling government that wouldn't allow you to do things in England. They broke away. They came over here and they said, look, we're going to make sure that we are allowed to speak freely and have guns, because if the government gets too crazy and too powerful and too many people, then I want to be able to have a gun to protect myself against the government. That's the idea of the Constitution. In fact, let me read the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. It says it. That's the Second Amendment to your Constitution. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's the First and Second Amendment to your Constitution. That's what it says. The reason is that a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, because they felt oppressed. They felt pressured from the government, not allowing them to do what they want to do. So they came over here and said, look, we want to make sure that we have one, freedom to speak, a freedom to peaceably assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievance, because we don't like what they're doing, we don't like what's going on, and we want to petition them that they should change their ways. And so that's why we have the Constitution of America. That's the foundation of it. So what we try and do here at the Jesse Woodrow Show on Fridays, Freedom of Speech Fridays, is we try and give everybody an opportunity to speak freely. And I just want to be totally transparent with you guys. I have I just started our Twitter account, JW Show 2. Remember back in the day, if you follow us back then, we had JW Show Take 2. 1-877 JW Take 2 was our phone number back then. Well, I had Jesse Woodrow as my Twitter handle back then, but it's long gone, and so now I've got JW Show 2 as the Twitter handle. But on Facebook, I've got a private Facebook page. I say private. I mean I accept friend requests, but the point is I've got a Facebook page on Facebook, and recently, was it today, yesterday? I've posted a couple things. And I just want to go over them because you might be sitting here listening right now. You might be listening to this right now, and you might be someone that maybe disagrees with me. I might disagree with you, for goodness sakes. Guess what? It's okay. Do you know that I've talked to people from 20, 30, 40 years ago, and they said, hey, I didn't like so-and-so. I didn't like what he thought, but he was still my best friend. I don't care what he thinks. Nowadays, it's just not that way. So you're going to hear out of this mouth consistently that the freedom to speak, the Constitution, the First Amendment of the Constitution is readily available on this mic. And so once we get a phone line and I'm able to actually take phone calls, then I'm going to allow you to come in and speak the way you want to speak. But for now, if you have a comment and it's against what I believe, I want you to say it. I want you to have a freedom to speak. That's what freedom of speech is about. So please post your comment or question here on YouTube in the comment section, and we're going to address it. And very soon, as we begin to progress and we continue to progress, I will be able to take your phone calls and so forth. But I wanted to just throw this out that I got a lot of hate, and it's hate is I think an appropriate term. I had some pushback on a couple different posts that I had on Facebook. And, these people, for the most part on my Facebook page, they're all friends, or I've met them, I know them for the most part. And so when someone doesn't agree with you, to me personally, it's okay. I'm cool with it. I'm great with it. I meet people every day, all day long I don't agree with. It doesn't make me hate anyone. But for a lot of people, pop culture says, hey, if I don't like what you think, if I don't agree with you, you're not my friend. And that's just the way the life is now. And I disagree with that. I think that we should be able to speak freely, and it shouldn't hamper or deter you from liking me or being a friend or whatever. There's just different thoughts on how we feel about things. So I posted an actual post about the fact that the Surgeon General actually said, and I'm going to read just a second of it so that we can be clear. The U.S. Surgeon General once warned against wearing face masks. Now, this article was actually written back in, this article was March 2nd of 2020. So this is right as before COVID, kind of right as it was going on. And I want to play for you the clip real quickly of the Surgeon General saying this. Here
it's a great question
clip.
that you ask. It's a fair question that you ask. I want to unpack the evolution of our guidance on masks because it has been confusing to the American people. First of all, I want people to understand that the CDC, the World Health Organization, my office, and most public health and health organizations and professionals originally recommended against the general public wearing masks because based on the best evidence available at the time, it was not deemed that would have a significant impact on whether or not a healthy person wearing a mask would contract COVID-19. I want to unpack
he's actually saying here that he once preached against it. Now he's changed his mind, but he did once preach against it. We're going to talk more about this when I come back from this break. Right here, the Jesse Woodruff Show. Freedom of Speech Fridays. Submit your question or comment We'll do it right after this break. Be right back.
Norwex is the future of cleaning or sanitization in your home or office. And with the recent COVID-19 pandemic, we all are concerned with the sanitization of our home and our office. The Norwex microfiber is revolutionary. It removes up to 99% of bacteria from surfaces, and it has colloidal silver in it, which is amazing. This product will blow your mind. It will save you money. Visit vreus.norwex.biz to get your Norwex products today.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins did the impossible. They were involved in the first moon landing. Now, John Wolfram has written this book called Splashdown. It's the rescue story of the astronauts. He was the first man in the water to get Neil Armstrong and the rest of them out of Apollo 11. You will love reading his firsthand accounts of all his training and the days he spent in Hell Week. It is so cool to hear from John what President Nixon said to the astronauts as they arrived. Pick this book up so that come July 2009, you'll be right in the front seat of the 40th year anniversary. Go to www.johnwolfram.org.
The government is expanding, taxes are increasing, more senseless wars are being planned, inflation is ballooning, our basic freedoms are disappearing. The founding fathers didn't want any of this. In fact, they said quite clearly in the Constitution of the United States of America, remember that? Unfortunately, that ingenious, beautiful, revolutionary document is being ignored more and more in Washington. If we are to enjoy peace, freedom, and prosperity once again, we absolutely must return to the principles upon which America was founded. And Dr. Ron Paul has written this new book, The Revolution A Manifesto. He is a United States congressman and was a huge deal in the underground internet movement, made a big deal about a lot of things, and was challenged a lot in the media. And I think you'd like to know what's in his book, The Revolution, A Manifesto by Dr. Ron Paul. You could order it at Amazon.com or many other outlets on the internet. All right, we're back. Live Jesse Woodrow show right here. Freedom of Speech Fridays, taking your phone calls. I wish. I remember those days. We'll get back there. We'll be right back there very soon. I do have some questions and comments. I want to get to them in just 1 second. However, what I would like to do is read you a tiny bit of this clip that I played on the other side of the break. Dr. Jerome Adams, who is the U.S. Surgeon General, he did say on Monday, March 2nd, that wearing face masks could actually increase a person's risk of contracting COVID-19. He's echoing remarks he made on Saturday that called for people to stop buying masks. Now, in a similar stance, Vice President Mike Pence, the head of the U.S. Coronavirus Task Force, said on Saturday, February 29th, that the average American does not need to go out and buy masks to protect themselves from coronavirus. Now, remember, real quickly, Dr. Fauci actually went on camera, went on the air with a video camera in his face and said live on camera, it's the stupidest thing you can do. Don't do that. That's not going to help at all. It's not going to do anything for you. In fact, you don't want to do that in the middle of this pandemic. Now, I understand that the whole thing shifted. Almost overnight. Everything shifted. I get that. However, for me personally, I look at something like that and I say, well, wait, if all of a sudden overnight we're supposed to wear masks, why were they so sure that we weren't supposed to wear them originally? I have seen post after post for reasons they shouldn't. For instance, carbon dioxide poisoning. I have seen posts and posts and posts about that. I have seen posts about the fact that there's this one post I saw where the slavery The slaves were actually forced to wear masks symbolically to mark them as not having a voice or to be owned. So there is a definite connotation to wearing a mask. I understand. I get it. I understand that masks, they're preaching a message that masks can protect other people if you have it, because da-da-da-da. And listen, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't dare try and say that I can even join in those ranks. However, I think it is important to look at the fact that they once said this, and then overnight they said something completely different. I think it's important. The U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Fauci, that guy that actually said, you got to wear them, but immediately prior you say you don't have to. I don't know. It just gets really, really weird about. There's a lot to be said about this. Let me go to some questions and comments. Let's see. What do you think about Q? That was a question coming from someone. According to Wikipedia, Coonan is a far-right conspiracy theory detailing a supposed secret plot by alleged deep state against U.S. President Donald Trump and his supporters. Now, there is a lady named Jessie Z. She is or was a satanic mother of darkness, which is listen, if you're going to make stuff up, I don't think that you'd make that title up. And she's now a defector from Satan's, tribe, if you will. And she actually says that Coonan is right on point on everything. So, what do I think of Coonan? I think there's probably some truth in there. I don't know. Could Coonan be someone just like me, another guy that's really into all this stuff, and he could just be really on the cutting edge and just, I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But I'll tell you this, the thing we should follow is not Coonan. We shouldn't follow Jesse Woodrow either. I tell you who we should follow is Jesus Christ. That's who we should follow. And that's who I choose to follow is Jesus Christ, because I'm flawed. Coonan is flawed. I'm flawed. You're flawed. We're all flawed, but Jesus Christ is perfect. So in who we should follow and what we should do, I'm thinking the right answer's got to be God, don't you think? Good question, though. Coonan, I have no problem with checking Coonan out and looking at what from time to time what's happening. Okay. Anna W. says exactly. He also said that cotton masks don't do anything. Yeah, cotton masks don't do anything. You know what? I had a lady who is a nurse when this whole thing started tell me, hey, and she kind of laughed and put on her. She says, don't wear the stupid masks. I don't even wear the masks. And this is a nurse. She said, I don't even wear the mask. Don't wear the masks. And I'm like, okay. So, that's one thing. All right, what do you think about Coonan? Okay, good. That was Apostolic Warrior. Okay, great. Also, good to see you back at it. Always had much love and respect to you. Hey, thank you so much. God bless you. Hey, we're getting there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna be there. God's with us, and we're gonna do good things for God. By the way, this is Wayne Moore from Fort Worth. Oh, hey, Wayne. Stephanie B., what is the show's Twitter handle? Very good question. The show's Twitter handle is JW Show Take 2. That's the only one I can get. There's the only one available. Let's see. Between this mask thing and as a Washington resident, I feel... Oh, Washington resident. Is that Washington, D.C. or Washington State, I wonder? I was born in Washington State. Between Washington State resident, I feel that our human rights are being taken away. Washington during this time has passed 2 controversial laws, facial recognition and a law to... I don't have the rest of that, but it is beyond true. The government has almost overnight taken away our constitutional rights for everything. That's why it's so true, and that's why I'm all about this. It may get old, it may not be new, it may be boring, it may not be fun to watch, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to hold on to this Constitution and the freedom to speak. And another thing I'm going to do is hold on to the Bible. I'm going to hold on to Jesus, because no matter what, the Bible says that God's going to be my refuge. God's going to be my fight. God's going to be my high tower. He's going to be my safety. He's going to the way, the truth, and the life. He is my everything. So if they take stuff, you can take everything you want from me, but you can't take Jesus. Come on, I feel like I could preach today. You can't take Jesus from me. You can take my constitutional right. You can take my food from me. You can take my wife, my job, my house, my car. You can take my bank account, but you can't take Jesus. You can't take my salvation. I will not let you take my salvation from me, Satan. How dare you? We have to get, at some point, Christians got to wake up and get a little furious at one point and get a little fire under us. And you know what? Sometimes I think, thank God things happen like COVID, because it gives me a chance to do you know that in the midst of COVID, that's when I was like, wait a minute, I got to get back on the air. I got to get back preaching the truth. I got to get back doing what God's called me to do. So in the midst of trouble, sometimes God raises up people. And God's looking to raise you up right now in the midst of your trouble. God's looking, you elevate God, God will elevate and give you an anointing. And I'm telling somebody right now that you need to come out of the mess that you're in. Come out of the mess that you're in and start going to church. If you need to find a church in your local area, please contact us. Contact Jesse Woodrow at me.com, and I'm going to help you get connected to a local church, because we can sit here and talk about the Constitution. You know what? You're right. They're going to take your constitutional right from you. They're going to take everything from you and tell you what Satan's going to do. He's going to tell you that you can't buy or sell unless you worship him. They're going to take everything. They are going to strip you if that's the plan. The plan is to force you to not worship God. That's the plan. So you and I have to be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. We have to think, God, no matter what happens, if the story of Job happens to me, I'm still going to worship you. Woo. Oh man. Corey. Let me get to you, Corey. What are you saying here, Corey? You say all sheriffs should be doing this. Yes. So let me take the last couple of minutes and explain to you. I posted another story on Facebook, and I got to post it on Twitter for you too. But don't be a sheep. The Washington sheriff urges residents to defy the face mask order. Now, let me tell you something. These two posts that I on Facebook I've been tore down. It is unbelievable. And let me just see if I can find.
Some odd days that we
Here he is talking right now.
Inside and out.
This is the sheriff.
Here's what I say. Don't be a sheep.
Don't be a sheep, he says. So a rounded set of applause. Don't be a sheep. That is such an amazing clip. That some people, well, he's not a doctor. What? I don't care. The guy, you can't get to his position without being, somewhat smart. And he's saying, don't be a sheep. This is an interesting fact. The Washington State Sheriff urged residents to defy Governor Jay Inslee's statewide mandate requiring people to wear masks in public, declaring don't be a sheep, according to a report. Well, we just heard him say it. Don't be a sheep. You know what? Don't be a sheep. Don't just do what everybody's doing, because the Bible says that wide is the road, but narrow is the gate. So I want to be a part of the narrow people. I want to be, when everybody's doing one thing, guess what you and I should be doing? Looking the other way, finding out if everybody's doing that, I want to be doing that. And that's the kind of the way that I live my life. I always want to look this way and at least figure out what are they talking about? What is this about? We should all be like that. So this sheriff has got a lot of flack for this. And what do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? What would you do if your sheriff in your town said that thing too? Raymond, where are the churches that teach end times Bible prophecy? Raymond, you get a hold of me. I'll bring you to my church where we teach it. You guys, I have so many of these questions. I wasn't able to get to all of them. I apologize. Hey, look, we're going to do better every week. I love you guys so much. Remember, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Hang on to him. He's the answer. He's everything you need. He's everything I need. God, help us in this last day. Help us to be close to you, God. I love you guys. Be strong.